All right, Nancy, we up?
We're up, Commissioner.
Okay, I'm going to have the deputy clerk go ahead and swear us in.
If you'll be speaking for your hearing, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So they might, he told us.
All right. If you want to go ahead and come up, sir, you're going to be up first. So, rules of the hearing. So, like I said earlier, we're not here to be mean. We're here to talk things through, and we'll work through it. Under Idaho Code 63501, the Board of County Commissioners are required to convene as the Board of Equalization. We are here to determine market value under Idaho Code 63205, which states that all real, personal, and operating property subject to property taxation must be assessed annually at market value for the assessment purpose as of 12:01 a.m. on the first day of January in the year in which said property taxes are levied. Furthermore, under Idaho Code 63502, the function of the Board of Equalization shall be confined strictly to assuring that market value for assessment purpose of property has been found by the assessor, and to the functions provided for in Chapter 6, Title 63 of Idaho Code relating to exemptions from taxation. The taxpayer shall have the burden of proof in seeking affirmative relief to establish that the determination of the assessor is erroneous. A preponderance of the evidence shall suffice to sustain the burden of proof. What that means is the state legislature put all you guys at a disadvantage, and you have to prove why they're wrong. A preponderance is a simple 51% thing. This isn't an overwhelming evidence like in a court of law. We're here to discuss the market value of the property, the condition of the property, the state or information that is relevant to the topic, and this is the facts, not the opinions. We are here to discuss taxes, past grievances, policy, personal income, or other issues. We're not here to discuss those. If we do not stick to the discussion as requested, your time will be reclaimed. So we can keep this moving forward. Property owner will have 3 minutes to make their case. Assessor may ask questions through the board. The assessor will have 3 minutes, and you may ask questions back through the board to the assessor, and then there will be a discussion and closing statement and discussion with the board. The rules: be kind. Direct all the comments to the board. Don't go back and forth between. It's a discussion with us, not with them. If your conduct's out of line, you'll be warned, and if your conduct continues to be out of line, you'll be asked to leave. With that, sir, if you'd please state your name, and your 3 minutes will go ahead and start right now.
Good afternoon. My name is Ali Agazadeh Habashi, and I am here to appeal the appraisal on my property. And my property ID is RPR PPOC 00510.
Okay, go ahead. You can.
So I appreciate the time that you gave me to discuss this option of my case. I believe the property prices are going up, and that's why we got a little bit higher appraisal than last year. But based on few facts that I want to just bring up to the table, I think that it's too much and it's too high. One is the location. The location of my house is across a big parking lot of what's the name? Holt Arena. It's busy. It's sometimes crazy activity goes on over there. And other than that, it's across a park, which is good for some point, but most of the time that park is used by so many people. They come and mow the lawn in the early morning, and they don't give that much of the, luxury of having quiet time over there. It's very highly traffic area, and having that the alumni house recently built across the street is going to impact even more. We just see the impact already. The dust and the noise and the trucks that coming and going cause problem. One another thing is the age of the building. Building is about 45 years old. It has a lot of damages that it has to be renewed, to be just appraised in the market price. For example, the windows are so old, and they are just a sanctuary for insect and spiders and stuff. I have a patio that has a lot of cracks on the concrete and even the garage. And we had even some flooding last year just due to raining, and which we are manually handling. I couldn't afford to repair that one. Last storm also damaged a tree across the garage and damaged the roof. I have to change the roof as well. So considering this old age and this deficiencies, and also more importantly, the card of the residential shows that I have a lot of residential space, but the basement is not in the shape that it can be used for, to be used as a residential. We are using only the first floor, and for getting that the basement to that level to be used, it needs a lot of renovation and cost a lot. One another thing that I asked one of my friends as a realtor to give me a hint, he come up with this idea. Yes, this price has gone up, and he gave me some appraiser that shows that about 23% based on the last year's sale went up, but 42% is used. I got the realtor appraisal. The time that I submitted it was for 460. Today I got it 470. If you consider the January 1st, it could be even lower. So based on this fact, I want to get lower as much as possible, and I understand the situation, so I ask for about 450 to 460,000 to be appraised. Right.
Okay. Questions from the assessor's table?
I have a question regarding basement. We do show that you do have some basement finish, and we don't really determine what it's used for, if it's used for storage, but if there is finish, if it is finished, then, and we are showing that there's 1,164 square feet out of the 2,341 square feet of finish, so a little less than half finish. Does that sound about right to you?
It's finished, but it's finished when it was built.
Finished is drywall.
It is finished, but it's in dirty stage. It's they were some family were living there, and they made a mess after they left. And for making it reusable, it needs at least $50,000 to $80,000. This was working out the carpet and walls and stuff, and the flood that I mentioned had a big impact on that one.
Okay, so point of clarification from my aspect. So you had a water damaged basement, so carpet's been removed?
We didn't do it, but we dried it up, and I'm worried that there is still some fungus and stuff. If you want to,
So sheetrock damage, that kind of stuff?
there is
What's
some
the-
damages. Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is that we are only two-person. My son just went to the college, so we didn't need the space. That's why we didn't go through that renovation. That's why.
Okay. All right, assessor's table, you have your 3 minutes, please.
Subject property is sitting on a .31 acre parcel. It was built in 1979. There is 2,446 square feet on the main, 2,341 square feet in the basement, for a total of 4,787 square feet, of which we are showing 1,164 square feet of finish, so it's less than half finished. And I would like to say that we would be happy to go out and do a re-inspection. We are showing this home with no updates. It's in average condition for a home that was built in 1979. And we are showing that it has cooled air. Also, subject complaint, I'm not seeing any comparables in here. I am seeing percentages, but there are no actual comparables as to how the 467,000.
So I believe that was the point that the appellant made, that he took his value from last year and adjusted it off of his 24%.
Yeah.
And that's where the percentage came from.
Right, so, jumping down, let's see, to the comparable sheet, there are several comparables here. Subject property is in at 136, comparable 1 is at 142, comparable 2 at 190, and comparable 3 at 138 per finished square feet. Thank you.
Okay. Questions back to the assessor's table, please?
Just those comparables based on, I don't know exact address of them, but the location makes a big difference. And this property located in a very high, busy traffic. The whole terrain, even when we were buying it, we didn't have any chance to go anywhere because of my son's going to the center. We landed over there. Otherwise, we couldn't buy that one. That was one of the key points that even they mentioned at the beginning to me, that be ready for those busy streets that you cannot even find any parking spot for your friend that's coming to visit you. And another thing about the building, which I missed to say, that the heating and cooling cost during the winter and summers high skyrocketing compared to the other houses due to damages or the functionality of the windows. They are not providing the service that they could keep the heat out and keep the cold out. We just continuously using the heater or the cooler during the summer or winter. They need to be fixed, to be evaluated in the market price as we see based on the square feet. Yes, the square feet is right, but the quality of the building just puts my property in the lower end of that average.
Okay. You have any? I'll just say, I live right across from where they're building the alumni building, and they thump the steel at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday or Sunday, and you can feel it. I do a feel for you. I would say Bonneville probably, I don't know what the other land values are, but it appears they've probably made a land adjustment on your land value because of you being on Bonneville across the street from Holt Arena.
Yeah,
I mean, your land value is set at $59,000, where I'm in that same neighborhood, and I think my land value is more than yours, and I have a smaller lot. But you deal with more of the traffic. They only park and block my driveway about half the time, so you take the brunt of it.
The argument about the land or your value going up excessively is a little bit erroneous, because I go back and you were at BOE last year and we made an adjustment to your property down last year. Had we not made that adjustment, you would have fallen within the 24% market change. So looking at that, it looks as if the assessor has you in a good spot. And I also looked at Realtor.com and verified that they showed you at 470, which is good. But then I look at Zillow, which I think Zillow was a little off base. Zillow said 587.
Yeah, they're a little off base.
So I don't agree with that one. So,
Sir, where I sit at, and like I said, is I was ready to make a land adjustment, but I think your land adjustment's already been made because you deal with the traffic. And that property in the Bonneville, we typically, any house that comes with that, we usually have made a adjustment that sits because you deal with every single football game, high school, whatever there is, the 45 million trucks going 50 miles an hour with dump trucks and concrete and everything. You're dealing with them right now. But it looks like it's already been done and applied to this because your land value is so much less than what's everything else that's been done. The improvements on that, yes and no. I mean, you could go either way. If we had and what I'd recommend is if we had a bunch of pictures or have the assessor's office actually go in and look at the basement, because then they can actually verify that yes, and if that's what it is, they will make the adjustment and they'll drop it because they're not going to do it just to do it. If you want to go to the Board of Tax Appeals, and that way, and you can have pictures and all that stuff, you can take all of that evidence to that and they consider all that. But right now where I sit, where they've already adjusted your land value, I was reaching and looking and I can't find anything and trust us, these guys don't like it. We actually will try and find something if there's there. But I can't find anything right now to do that.
yeah, I can't either.
Do we have a motion?
Can I say?
Yes, sir.
I agree that you just value the land a little bit lower, but last year was also, it was, valued higher. But the main thing is the windows that we have problem, and those cracks and stuff. And the Zillow you said is off, but the Realtor is, Realtor.com is one of the most reliable one.
Well, and that's why I say, sir, have the assessor, pictures, stuff like that. Normally in condition of property, people will always, they'll bring pictures, they'll bring stuff that is, hey, look, we've had a flood in here. You can see from a flood, hey, we've had floods, we have concrete damage, we have sheetrock damage. We are required, under the way that we're supposed to operate, is we have to have a preponderance of evidence that shows that that's there. Right now, while we have good opinion, good fact, good things on both sides, I'm not seeing to where it's outside of the piles that we have. I'm not seeing your square footage prices at $136 a foot right now. And there's a lot of houses in that university neighborhood that are a lot higher than that. And so you're one of the lower based per square foot. And I'm not having an argument right now where I can justify to the taxpayers and to everybody else that I have a full preponderance of evidence. I'm not there yet. And so that's what I'm saying. I see that I was ready to, let's make an adjustment to the land, but there's already an adjustment to land made. And so I can't justify making another adjustment on top of that adjustment because one's already there. You're set at $59,000 for your lot, where a lot of those in that area are 75 or 80. And so that's where I tried. And like I said, if you have pictures and you have that stuff, you're more than welcome to do that at the next hearing if you so choose. Have the assessor go in, and the assessor and those guys can go through. They're the best ones that make that change.
Do you have a cost for the windows to?
Yeah. Do you have have you had a?
This last time our case went very easy. I thought I will have the same treatment over here, so I didn't come prepared. I wish I could get the windows and those assessment out.
If you had a cost to cure, a bid, somebody come look at your windows and say, hey, it's going to cost you
So I
$5,000.
can redo this one later on by having those.
No, you'd have to go
You
to
have
the
to
state tax
go board of state
commission.
tax bills. They'll hold it here. They do that, but you can go get all those bids and they'll look at that. I mean, that's an option. We're here. It's just the first line of, hey, do you have this? If you, a lot of times we'll do a cost to cure based upon a bid. If we talk to somebody, do you have, how many windows do you have? I don't have anything to base a number off of. One gentleman came in and he had a window count. He had 30 windows in his house. So that one, because it's such a crazy windows, it's.
I can go that avenue, but the problem is that I'm a university prof and I have a very busy schedule, and
They'll do it during the summertime. They make you
believe me, my summertime is much
much more valuable.
busier than the regular.
I will tell you though, if you can get a bid on your windows, you can get stuff like that, have it looked at. Those are the things. Those are the hard things those are the cost to cure. They usually will go in and put those.
I have another suggestion. Is it possible that we can come to the middle ground and we can maybe do it next year?
Well, the problem is next year is the work going to be done, and that's the problem that we run into. I don't have verification of where we're at, and so we've had some issues.
No, in case the next year comes, if
Okay.
that nothing to be appealed, so I will go.
So
with it.
why don't we? And I'll yield to the assessor's table. If they have capacity, I don't know if they have capacity. If you have somebody that can drive by and take a picture and look and go check out the basement and the windows, and they can actually go through it and say, hey, is there somebody available or not? You guys are the.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
So I would ask unanimous.
So, Mr. Motion.
Mr. Motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion on parcel RPRP POC 005105. We table this and give the assessor opportunity to go inspect the property and make an adjustment, and we'll go from there.
So they may or may not make an adjustment, but they'll come out and take a look at it, and they'll see. And if they see you have windows, you have damage, you have this, trust
So
me.
we cannot finish it right now?
Not right now today. They'll actually have an appraiser that'll actually come out and take a look at your house.
I don't know, we are going to
They'll
travel soon.
they'll make it happen. They'll make it happen. They'll work with you.
Yeah, we can do it today.
They can do it
We'll
today.
figure it out.
So if you want to, if one of you guys can step out and make arrangements, we'll allow you to do that. There is a motion on the floor. Is there further discussion or any other motion? All in favor?
Aye.
We will wait to hear a response from the assessor's
Okay,
table.
we have to just consult with my wife to see if she is willing to agree on that one, but from,
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood, sir.
you know that.
Yes,
you're
sir.
The boss.
Yes, sir, I do.
We will just maybe show some of this stuff.
Okay. They can actually help you. All right, next one up. Let's see here. Oh, I was looking at 2 o'clock. I was like, none of these people are here. Susan Beck. All right, if you'll go ahead and state your name for the record.
Susan Beck.
Okay. Go ahead and get started.
So this is concerning parcel RPRs PCYP001401. I purchased this property when I got a job at ISU in 2006 for $153,000 and lived in it. Right now I am not living in it. I am living with other family members elsewhere, but do plan to, and I have it rented. Right now it is up for rent. And so the property value assessment went up $143,946. That's 44% from last year. I think that's a little high. I listed in my letter to the commissioners, I listed 7 properties. I had a little bit of a difficult time finding things that are exactly similar, but I did the best I could, and I got the, from the assessor's office, I got what their taxes were going to be, or what the property was appraised at for this time.
Okay.
For this year, for 2022. So the 7 in my letter show that. So this is a townhouse that I lived in. There have been no updates. It's original as when I bought it. I do maintain it. I'm over there painting right now if anybody'd like to come and help. And hope to have it rented out again. What I can say about the HOA, Country Place 2, TOO, is that it's a very small HOA. We're next door to Country Place, which are the first condo units that you can see from South Grant. We maintain our own lanes. Our streets are not maintained by the city or the county. Those are all part of what we have. Our commons area are very small. So small that I don't think you'd want to let your dog out on it. You'd probably be going down on the Portneuf River to do that or something like that. But there really isn't, I mean, we don't have pools, we don't have a party house, we don't really do have any of those kind of things like some of the townhome associations do. So I just think that this property is way overvalued for what it is.
Okay. Assessor's table, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, assessor, I'll go ahead and yield you your 3.
The subject property is a townhouse. It sits on 0.05 acres, and I believe all of these will be going down to 20,000 for land. So there will be a land adjustment. It will go.
So it'll drop 40-something thousand bucks off of that.
Well, about almost 50,000.
Okay.
So that will, that's a good chunk. Dwelling, it has 1,460 square feet on the main and an additional 648 square feet on the upper, built in 2000. And,
So you had a total of 2140?
yes,
Okay.
2108.
Okay.
So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay, questions back to the assessor's table?
No?
Okay.
I'm still looking.
You stole my thunder to begin with.
Beat you to it.
Land value is, so, yeah, 69,000 in this. So, yeah, if you're dropping $49,000 right off the top of the property. The other thing is where you no longer have it as your primary residence, you lost your homeowner's exemption off of it.
Believe me, I know that.
I was thinking, oh, it's just gonna be the homeowners. No, the land value. What did we have do we have a square foot price? Let's see here, I'm recalculating, give me just a second. I'm just curious now to see where we're at. So we had 257, and you said the land is just going to 20,000 flat?
Yes.
Divided by 2108. 131 a foot.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
For the-
I mean, with the
That's
adjustment,
what the-
my first thing I was doing was I was going for your land adjustment. You'd already convinced me of that. You'd already won there, but they beat me to it. So, but yeah, your improvements, unfortunately, a piece of sheathing cost $50.
I know.
And so the problem to rebuild that house or even to sell comparable, your improvements itself, they're not depreciating right now. They're
Exactly, and I can tell you, I listed it on Marketplace on Facebook, and I got bashed for my high rent price.
what are you renting it at?
I'm renting it way too low. I'm renting it at 71 cents per square foot.
So what are you renting that as a total?
About $1,500.
$1,500?
Which is low for
Okay.
the amount of square footage in that.
Okay, hold on one second. I'll see if we're at.
Apartments.com has a market analysis that they do for properties in the area that are for rent. The thing is though it's a unique townhome, though some of those are because the square footage is so much, but it's still a 2-bedroom. It's a 2-bedroom with an office. I cannot legally put a renter in the 3rd room because
Yeah.
it's an office and there is no windows.
So if you take,
It's on an inside wall.
so just so you know, if you take your rents and you use an income-based approach, just what we use here, and I used a cap rate of 0.5 or 5.3, which is kind of the high end. Well, actually, it's the lower end on some of them. The cap rate right now in Eastern Idaho is 5.3 to 7.3 on income-producing properties. That gave me $224,000 in a total price. And if you drop that off, and that's not, and I was using some pretty 30% maintenance factor. I was doing some other stuff. So I mean, you're in the ballpark. I mean, with the drop of the land value, that's
So it's going to take it down to the value of what?
279,002.
279,202. Do we have a motion?
I think that's where we're at. Mr. Chair, on parcel RPCYP001401, I make a motion that we adjust the land value down to 20,000, which would make the total value of 279,202.
Okay, there's motion on the floor. Is there further discussion or any other motions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, ma'am, we've made an adjustment. It's not as far down as you wanted it, but making that adjustment, it does give you or the assessor's office the option to appeal this to the Board of State Tax Appeals or to the district court if you so choose. If you go to the district court, it'll be at your own expense. In 2 to 3 weeks, you will receive a written notification from our office of what's occurred here today. If you want to go forth and continue appeal, you can get those documents in the clerk's office, which is directly behind that wall. If you don't have anything further, ma'am, I would consider this hearing closed.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Arnold,
Does anyone want a paper copy?
let me go through. I'm pretty sure we have everything, because if I don't
Okay.
have to take a copy.
I just have the page numbers on here because they aren't, I don't know how it got scanned in. So if it's easier to reference with page numbers, I did do those.
I do not, I only have 6 pages on our file.
That's where it got,
When did you bring it in?
I brought it in with my appeal.
Okay.
I tried to appeal 3 properties together in person because 2 of them are my brother-in-laws and I represent him, but she said that you guys opted to do a
We usually do a written-
administrative, so that will be tomorrow. So this is the same packet that you can take notes
Okay,
on
so
for
hold on one second, I'm
tomorrow or
gonna-
whatever, but I did turn them in.
Yep. So hold on one second.
You
I'm
can
just going to
talk
ask for this. Hold on one second. It's
Sam.
Christy that's down there. So hold on one
It started
second.
with a
Or Shanda.
Shanda.
The commissioner's office appears to have made an issue. Do you have a problem with them bringing that at this time? It appears to be an administrative issue. Are you okay with packet coming forward?
If I can look,
If you give her one right now, and let's let's take 2
She
minutes.
told me yesterday
Yep.
that she fixed it, but I just have 3
Well,
copies.
this is the rules that we play by, is we give all appellants and all sides equal opportunity to review everything. And so, it used to be that you would walk in here and have nothing and nothing to go off of. And so when we read and go through your packet even, it doesning give us time to go after it. So allow the assessors.
That's why I called yesterday, and
Yeah.
I tried to mention it at the beginning of the meeting,
well.
that there was a miscommunication.
And that's what I say. So
Miss-
typically, we don't even allow it into the thing,
Placing.
and we make you just talk about it. But if it has appeared as a issue in our office, as long as the assessor's table is given a second to review this right quick before we get going.
Okay.
And
Christy's watching, and she said she scanned in 56 pages yesterday for you?
Yes.
Yep.
Are these different than those pages?
No.
Okay. As long as there's
I
a
did
second.
add one at the end
not
because it was a different of these, and I didn't want it to get confused with the one that
Okay.
I was.
All right.
So that's at the end. So that I did add that, but it's because I didn't want any more confusion than there already was.
This is going for 3956.
Yes.
Cobble Court. Okay. So we'll give these guys just a second to look and give me 2 seconds and Commissioner Huff 2 seconds. And you've got a packet of all sorts of stuff in here.
I would like to make a comment just real fast, because maybe I'm looking wrong. This one says
There's a second page on there.
39,
She had 3 properties, 2 of which are going to be in administrative tomorrow, and this packet has everything in it. So
393.
So we are just dealing with the 3956 today in this
There
area.
are 8 twin homes, so 4 sets of twin homes, which is why they're all in one packet, since they're all in the same cul-de-sac.
But we're only going after the 3956 today for the
Yep,
in-person.
that's the one that I'm appealing personally. But it might save you a minute of review tomorrow.
Where's 39?
There's an appraisal for 56.
So there is not an appraisal for 3956.
58 though.
There's not.
Okay.
And 58 is the other half to 56, correct?
Correct. And then I've included the full appraisal for 3970 because that was within the time frame. That is the house, it's the house, the set of twin homes next door, and the mirror of 3956, if that makes sense. So it's a neighboring property, same size, similar land.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's go ahead and get started on 3956 Cobble Court.
Okay. My name is Jessie Arnold, and like I said, we have 8 twin homes, so 4 sets. On this set, the assessed value, sorry.
We want to be very careful. We are
Yes.
discussing only the value of 3956.
Yes, it is a
Okay?
separate parcel.
So we're not mentioning any of those other parcels of how we're doing it, because those are in an administrative
Okay.
hearing tomorrow.
Yes.
And so we've gotten very specific this time because we have so many properties coming in that we're talking about the one property. Otherwise, we
Yes.
will hold this property over and do an administrative hearing with it tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay? So
Yes.
you have your option. I mean, if your argument is intertwined with the others in such a way, if you can't separate it out, we will need to go to an administrative hearing
okay.
then.
I'm clarifying why I
Okay.
use this
Okay.
appraisal.
All right.
Because I'm using the appraisal of the mirror image of it
Okay?
and the neighboring property
Okay.
next door. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
So I
does.
am talking about properties, but not
Okay?
to compare.
Okay?
to this one, since you guys wanted comparables. So the assessed value of 3956 went up 34% from last year. We're in the process of building these twin homes, and so I've had an appraisal done almost every year. So if you look at the assessor's numbers, I've been to BOE and had appraisals at those hearings, which is why they were adjusted down. And so if you look at, for this one, they did 2 5-year reevaluations, and we keep doing this thing where they put it up here, I have an appraisal that's lower, that's I've paid for, and then they jump it back up the next year, so I have to come in with another appraisal. So again, I have another appraisal done on one of the twin homes. They're all the same size. They're the only difference between this one and then the appraisal that I have for 3970 is the age difference. There are some other finishing touches, but if we're just looking at, you know, basics, they're the same except for that age. And then I included the sheet on page 4 for 3958 Cobble Court, because we did have an appraisal done when this was built, both sides, and that was at 206. And so that shows that last year we were close to the value, and then now it still has a 34% jump. And then on page 3, I have another appraisal that was done 32521 for 220. And so we're still within that range, not even close to the 272 that it's being assessed for. So looking at the 3970, that was done, approved 1/21/22. And so that has, all the comparables were done within the time frame that we're looking at, and even the latter part, because I know you like to adjust up.
Okay.
Can I keep going, because we used quite a bit to clarify at the beginning? Or
Just be
no?
quick about it.
Okay, so I just wanted to look, comparable sale 1 and 2 are the closest. They had the least adjustment. So I feel like those are pretty great comparables for my property. And then with the last lady, you were mentioning the rent situation, and there's also a rent schedule on page 18 showing that we can rent this for $1,400. And so I'm looking at that, and page 43 through 45, we're showing that, you know, if what I'm paying, what my percentage estimates are for what I'm paying, and we're getting close to 20% of that rent in property tax. However, if we adjust it down, we're at least down to 17% of that rent. And so it is a pretty significant, especially with that homeowners being lost. My renters were paying a pretty significant portion of property taxes, and so I'm here to represent them. And that is all for this. Thanks.
Okay. Questions back from the assessor's table?
I am not seeing a year built on comparable 1 and 2. Is there a year built in?
There is an age, it says age, actual age 28 years on sale number 1, and 26 years on comparable number 2.
One emphasis that I would like to make is subject property was built in 2019, and this appraisal is for a 2007 home. So it's nowhere near the year built. So I would not use it. And comparables also, 2019, it's only 3 years old.
Can I
No, hold on. Let me.
I wasn't sure if it was a question.
No, that's okay. That's
Okay.
all right. Appraiser, let's go ahead and, or assessor's table, let's go ahead and hit the assessor's table and go from there.
subject property is a twin home on a .09 acre parcel. It does have 800 square feet on the main, 800 square feet in the basement. Basement is fully finished. It was built in 2019. We are showing that it has no heating, and it does have 3 bedrooms in the basement, 1 on the main level, 2 bathrooms. And once again, I would like to emphasize that it was built in 2019, and comparable sales on this appraisal were meant for the 2007 home, which is not the same thing. Thank you.
Okay. Questions back for the assessor's table?
So I'm curious what exactly the difference that 12 years makes on an assessment, because I'm looking at my comparables on this appraisal and showing that there isn't a whole lot of difference in age prices of the home. And so I'm curious how the assessor's office, so that's why I included page
hold on,
44.
let's do this right
Is
quick then.
because,
Hold on one second.
yeah,
On your program, do you have the ability to back the age off and go to a 2007 or a 2019 on your program?
We do.
well, I have the
I mean,
one
so
for
hold on.
3970
I know. Hold on 1 second, please.
is that age.
Hold on 1 second. And I'm getting that, but I'm curious because we asked what is the assessor's, what would that do if we adjusted it on the assessor's program? I'm curious myself. It's a valid point. I'd like to see what it does. Okay, well, she's doing that. Now, you're saying on the appraisal.
On page 44, so I have the assessment for that appraisal for 3970, and it's showing that that value is at 221. So
And that's the older one.
I didn't appeal that one. So they're showing a difference between these two homes of $50,000 or 22%.
For the age
difference.
adjustment.
For the age adjustment, that seems
Because this is the old, the
wild.
221 is the older one.
Correct.
Okay.
So for that age, I don't think there's $50,000 that, I mean, I've replaced a water heater,
Okay.
so.
I am really sorry, but my ProVal isn't working. It's,
Our computers are having issues right now. Mine is,
It has been that kind of a day.
it is
I'm
that,
glad I brought paper.
it's that day.
So that's what I'm showing the adjustment might be, that I don't understand that, and I've been dealing
In your,
with this every single year.
Yes.
So it would be nice to clarify where we're at here.
So, again,
Another question that I'm interested in is a single family versus a twin home.
hold that there.
Okay. If there's a price.
Price per square footage and
It's
construction
hard
costs
to get
generally not.
comparables of a single home versus a twin home, and so I'm not sure how interchangeable the prices are for assessment values. That's not something we have to answer today, but it has come up, and it will come up for you tomorrow.
Well, your own appraisal indicates it's $293.75 a square foot. And so that's why I'm saying your construction cost is showing then that a townhome is actually more than a single-family residence.
That's
For your
why,
appraisal.
that's why I'm
No,
curious.
from Mr. Kirkham's appraisal, he's the one
Yes.
that put that in, and that's what I'm saying is, okay.
Yeah, that's
hold on one
why
second.
So that
I'm
and I
confused
brought it up.
about
What,
that.
huh? What did your appraiser do? I don't know, you paid for it, not me.
if my ProVal's.
All right, so let's make this easy. We have several appraisals, we have a whole bunch of like properties that have some years difference. We have one that has a $50,000 difference by years, and we have one that's not. You have two appraisals from two different people that are putting your value in the spread of things.
3 appraisals.
Three appraisals, excuse me.
That's-
We're looking for your top sheets. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I want this one. So the problem is you do have some not like apples to apples here. In apples, you have 237 different varieties of apples that are sold in the United States. So right now, the problem is you do have some age adjustment because of an older. If I was buying a 2019 as opposed to a 2007, you'd pay more for the 2019.
Yes.
So the 2019 does stand to reason then that it does have,
And that's why I listed
A
it
value.
at 230, what I thought the fair value was, because my older home was appraised at 221. So I did add some.
okay.
I'm not sure what percentage that is, but it's a decent percentage.
I'm only seeing,
$10,000.
did Mr. Kirkham do 2 appraisals?
Um,
Who did I
I-
don't see a top sheet. I'm looking for a top sheet of value or
I-
your signature sheet that shows your
do you
actual.
want you want that signature one?
I want the actual one that shows your 3 cost approaches that they put in, and I'm not seeing 3 of them.
This is the problem, is on the computer, because of the sizing issue, it cut off the bottom portion of some of
Well,
them.
no, I mean, it's not the bottom portion. There's just, I'm missing sheets. I'm
Okay.
showing a double, I'm looking for, hold on, in your comparable page. NLS appraiser, they've made an adjustment, net adjustment totals. What did he make his net adjustments for?
I'll see if I can find
Hold on.
the page number. I believe it's page 28, and they keep cutting off the bottom of these when I print them. So I had to do an adjustment on the other ones. On my printer. Oh, actually, it's
Okay,
page
so this-
17.
This is, okay, this is,
Do you want
whatever,
my
no,
page?
that's fine, I got it. So this is the problem that we're running into, is we have subjects appraised for, and the appraiser of record in here lists it. The number of sales listings comparable properties in the subject's market area is too small to be significant or accurate as such, for no trends can be reliably or accurately identified from this data. Identifying trends based on a limited data may be interpreted as misleading and in violation of the conduct section of the ethics rules and compliance of USPAP. Idaho's non-disclosure state, thus sales data is limited, therefore due to lack of significant data, appraiser has placed minimal emphasis on weight of the above analysis. So they didn't time adjust any of your stuff, is why they're saying. It's because they don't have a accurate one that they feel that fits inside their USPAP guidelines. So that's why you have, every year we get an appraisal, which is a 3-pointer in basketball from you, and we
Yeah.
get a 3-pointer as a kicking a field goal in football. Who is right? Yes, both are right. It's to the degree of what is accurate. The more accuracy you want, the tighter of a shot you're making. With that being said, we make an adjustment every year because you go in and have an accurate shot, and then we take a generalized overall 2% adjustment to the property. So we just trend it, even though the appraiser is looking at it and saying the trend is not there for this particular type of property and this particular type of thing. So who is right? Yes, both of you are. Now, what does that mean? I would take probably, and there's somewhere in the middle. Is it 273? With the 3 appraisals presented before me, I would say probably not. Is it the 221 of the oldest and most? Probably not. I would probably say that it is somewhere in the middle, probably that 240, 250 range for the newer 2019 property.
You don't think the appraisal that was done in January is
I would probably say because
as
this is,
accurate or
no,
more
what I'm saying,
accurate
please
than
hold on
the
one second, ma'am.
assessors?
What I am saying is because this property is not the exact same property that they appraised, you cannot take that appraisal as 100% like comparable. We have an appraisal of a property that has a mirror that may have this, but
And
there
I
may,
have
but
that,
hold on,
it's just
hold on
not
one
the
sec.
time period.
But what I'm saying is you don't have one then that goes in there. I'm saying you have evidence that shows that there is a trend that is not in this area accurate. You're not applying a 2% trend. We're not seeing that. This appraisal, though, isn't necessarily for the exact property that is in question. So you have to come in and look at it from some perspective. If this had been an appraisal for that specific property that you were doing, I would take the appraisal as it is and call it good. Where we have not been inside, we have not verified, I can look in here and this appraiser, under criminal punishment if they lie, has said this is the exact condition of what it is, this is what the inside is, this is what everything inside of it is.
Yeah.
None of us have been inside this property. While I'm not saying that you are not telling the truth, all we have is just a verbal thing. So I would say that without a higher preponderance to bring it back down to this, if this was the exact appraisal, I'd take it as it is, call it good, and we'd be done. So I'd say this one is set at 235, this one's set at 221, you're assessed at 273. You're probably in that 245, 250 unless you have a specific appraisal an appraiser that walked in and could say, yes, it is identical to this property at 970 Cobble Street is identical to 3956. And it's not. And it's any
The
appraisal will tell
closest
you.
thing I do have is that 3958 that was done the end of 2020.
Same thing?
And it is a mirror and the same age.
Same thing. I've seen multiples that are mirrors, but we don't control what happens inside. We don't know the exact, everything that's in there, what's happened. We don't know if there's a flood or a finish or what, or this or however.
understand that.
And until that happens, under state rules, that is not a full preponderance. What I'm giving you and saying is, you have made a preponderance to show that the percentage correction, which keeps applying every year, is not correct.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at, but I don't have the exact appraisal here. I have a generalized, you're probably turned up a little too high in that 2%, is what we're saying. I'm not saying that your property was, the improvements, the land values and stuff, yeah, they're there. I know what the cost of all this is. The 2% every year that we keep applying, the 24%,
That takes you to 267 if you apply that to the 2020 appraisal. If you go to the 2021 appraisal of 220, time adjust that, takes you to 255.
255.
Yeah.
How
The
much
2%.
percentage did you adjust on?
2% a month.
But they were of this year. One was of January of 2022.
The 3/5/21.
Okay,
220,000.
Okay,
So
so-
I give you 8 months. So 8 times 2 is 16%, 255.
I buy that.
Right.
Buy that. If you had an appraisal of this exact property, I take the exact appraisal and just call it good because it's the exact property. Where we don't have an exact where it's at, I'm not,
They didn't make us do one because of the mirror. So
I know.
They just had us.
but that's a
do
lending
one side.
institution that's doing that and an investment group. That's not,
I understand that, but these are certified appraisers.
I know.
Okay.
And if you're aware of my family, that's what my family does. That's what my mom and dad are.
So,
And so I would not, as a certified appraisal and going into court to make this, because this is what this is a judicial process, you're asking for 100% preponderance based on an appraisal of not the like property. Of not the property. You have
yeah,
a
but
like
they're appraising it without seeing it, as you said, anyway. So
No,
my
no,
numbers
they're
are a
appraising-
lot more accurate than
They-
their assessment.
Mr. Chair.
I would say that just to get around this, she is an appraiser, and her opinion carries more weight than your opinion.
But she didn't come into my home.
That's okay, she's not required to by law because she can take a market trend analysis. What your appraisals have shown is the market trend analysis is not correct. The percentage, and that's what we just said, is that, okay, we'll take the appraisal, we'll base off a different adjustment, and then we'll go from there, and not hit you at the 273.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RP, RPQT1000600, I make a motion that we adjust the value to 255,200 with the reduction coming off the improvements.
There's a motion on the floor, is there any further discussion or any other motion? All in favor?
Aye.
You've been through this a lot. If you still want to go forth, you may go forth and do that. Again, if you can go do it, and the Board of State Tax Appeals does it, it holds the value for 2 years.
Yeah,
If you
I
have
understand.
an exact appraisal of the property, that's the one that you need. That's it. We're done. We're out there.
Yeah.
With that being said, if you want to continue, it's up to you. You'll receive notification in 2 to 3 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate
Do you
it.
want to keep these
We'll
for
keep
tomorrow?
it, we'll keep it for the admin hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Sir, what's your name?
Michael McLennan.
Okay, if you come up, we need to swear you in.
We won't swear at you.
By the way, Vinatieri, 90% field goal kicker, Steph Curry, 55 maybe.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Really? You had to go there today.
I'm sorry. They're both still really good at what they do.
Oh, we already got this. We're good. We're good. All right. Sir, I'm going to summarize the rules. Basically, we're here for the facts. It is your responsibility to provide preponderance of the evidence under state law. We are talking about market value of the property, condition, state, or information that is relevant. We are not talking about taxes, past grievances, policy, personal income, or other issues. This is being broadcast, so if you don't want people to know personal information, I wouldn't state it in this area. If you go ahead and state your name, you have 3 minutes, and we'll go ahead and go from there.
Thank you. Michael McLennan. This is parcel S35-T6SR34E. And my concern is the actual living space of the house versus what is listed there. The second floor is not heated, it is not air conditioned, it is not really living space, except for, you know, a month or so in spring and autumn, it's pretty nice as well. In order to bring heat and AC to there, we'd have to upgrade the furnace and have an HVAC contractor come in and make it livable. In addition, the basement space was, I'm guessing, it looks like, just from the looks of the place, it was done maybe in the early 70s, and it hasn't been touched since in the basement. That's not living space. We use it for storage. You're welcome to have an appraiser come by. We'd be happy for that. And I think we're talking probably 200, 250 square feet on the second floor, and 800 square feet in the basement at least. We live on the first floor only, except, as I say, a month or two out of the year.
All you got? I don't want to take your time if you're not.
No, those are my points. I don't want to say it twice.
Questions from the assessor's table? Okay, assessor, 3 minutes.
We are showing subject property to be on a .11 acre parcel. And we are showing 1,278 square feet on the main, 1,620 square feet in the basement, of which 900 square feet is finished, 320 square feet on the upper, built in 1920. And we are showing no cooling throughout the house. And that is all we got.
Okay.
And we would be happy to go out and do a reinspection.
Might have.
I'll just ask because you've offered, does your time or your schedule allow it?
That is a good question, but we could sure squeeze it in. Probably tomorrow I could have one of my coworkers run out.
I would just say, the only question I have, sir, is really on this, is if there's no heat source and what it's being used for, is it counted as storage space or is it counted as living space?
If it has finish in it, we would count it as finish. And we would probably make an adjustment for the second half to have no heater cooling.
Because, I mean, you can't qualify as a bedroom, FHA, all that stuff can't go if there's no heat source upstairs.
Right.
So, okay.
So
But we
really
would
are.
not take off complete
No, you wouldn't.
finish.
No,
Yeah.
because it's still used as storage. It's used as
How
one.
much
Yeah.
would you technically or theoretically take off with those adjustments?
Well, and I don't have no notes in the file, but I am only showing 900 out of the 1,620 square feet complete. So I'm wondering if that adjustment wasn't taken off already.
Well, you're welcome to look. I mean, they say it's refinished, but like I said, it was done 50 years ago.
Do you have drywall throughout and floor covering throughout the whole basement?
There's peeling linoleum on the floor and plywood or something like that.
So here, I'll help a little bit. When I walk down the stairs, do I have a light switch to turn on the lights?
No, it's
There's pull chain.
top of the steps.
So, but there's a light switch. Somewhere, there's something that turns the lights on other than my arm actuating a lever, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the floor joists in the ceiling, or are they covered? Can you see the studs, the insulation and the concrete on the walls, or is there sheetrock or paneling of some kind?
There is paneling.
Okay. The floor, is there something other than concrete on the floor?
By definition, yes.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about, is when people say it's an unfinished basement, you walk down there and you got concrete and you got floor rafters, that's it. And so, just understand that. With that, I mean, that'd be where you're sitting at, it looks like, as I went through it and I started looking at your sketch and what's there, it sounded like that they've probably already made the size adjustments on it. They have it listed.
That was my question. What would you make for the heating and cooling adjustment?
The heating and cooling adjustment would come right off of the basement square footage, finish.
But you said it's the heating
Exactly
upstairs.
what it would be, I don't know, because we can't take the heating off.
Well, what about the upstairs? Is the square footage upstairs is what he's talking about? Is the basement is the finish? It's the upstairs it's a finished. It has finish, but it has no heat source.
Oh.
For the
you mean
upstairs.
the 320 square feet?
Yes, there's no heat source up there.
We would adjust that down also.
Well, that would be
As far as finish goes, 320 square feet, it's fairly small. I think it would be reasonable to go down to 150 square foot of finish, and I can adjust that
So
right now, but my ProVal's really
Jeff can do it by hand.
150 times how many square feet did you say? 320?
320, yeah.
No, it should cut the 320 in half because you give them a percentage of
Right.
50% value.
Correct.
You just take 320 times it by 0.5 and take that times it by whatever your square footage value is.
Square footage value, we would look at like 135, 150.
I'd say 130 down there.
I'll go 135 because we've done that a couple
Yeah,
times
130.
today.
Yeah.
135 times 160. That's $21,600 adjustment.
That's what you do. And if you don't have a heat source up there, and you can't count it, you can't sell it until you add a heat source ran. It could be a cadet wall heater, or it could be, but it can't just be a plug-in. And so I'm okay with that. If you want to do that, that's
let me do
an adjustment
that
that
there
saves your
real
guys'
quick.
time for going out there.
That's what I'm thinking. Save everybody a few minutes here.
Now remember, you're under oath. Okay? So please don't let them go out there and find a heat source other than
You will
the
not.
plug-in wall cadet, okay?
I will say that some years ago, there is evidence that some years ago there was a radiator up there, but.
They tore it out. Okay.
All right, Mr. Chair, on parcel RPPOC 420000, I make a motion that we adjust the value of the property down to $223,692 with the adjustment coming off of the improvements.
There is a motion on the floor. Is there further discussion or any of the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Sir, we've made an adjustment. It might not be all the way in your favor, but it was in your favor. It does give the assessor's table and yourself the ability to appeal if you so choose. You'll be notified in 2 to 3 weeks in writing of what has happened here today. Once you get that, if you so choose to appeal, forms are in the clerk's office, and that would go to either the district court or to the Board of State Tax Appeals. If you don't have any other questions, we'll consider this hearing closed.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. It's 2 o'clock. Let's see where we're at. 2 or 3. I'm going to need to walk down
We've got a whole truckload.
and then we just need to go. So 2 o'clock, is nobody coming today?
I'll go check.
Yeah, got there. I was waiting for
Don't
people.
look too hard.